April 14th, 1912. In the middle of the North Atlantic Ocean, under a sky filled with stars, the largest and most advanced ship in the world was moving steadily through the icy water. On board were more than 2,200 people. Some were laughing in grand dining halls, some were asleep in warm cabins. Others, deep below deck, dreamed of a new life in America. No one believed anything could go wrong. The ship had a reputation. People called it unsinkable. But just before midnight, everything changed. At the beginning of the 20th century, ocean travel was rapidly evolving. Shipping companies competed to build bigger, more luxurious ships. This ship was designed to be the greatest of them all. It stretched over 880 feet long. It carried elegant staircases, fine restaurants, and luxurious rooms. For wealthy passengers, it felt like a floating palace. But the ship wasn't just about comfort. It was built with advanced safety features, including watertight compartments designed to keep it afloat even if part of the hull was damaged. This design created a powerful belief that this ship could not sink. When the voyage began, it carried people from every class of society. The richest passengers enjoyed luxury beyond imagination. Middle-class travelers lived comfortably, enjoying the journey. And in the lower decks, thousands of immigrants traveled with hope. They were leaving behind their old lives, heading toward opportunity. Different people, different backgrounds, but all on the same ship, all trusting the same promise of safety. As the ship crossed the Atlantic, warnings began to arrive. Other ships reported icebergs in the area. Messages were sent to the ship's wireless room. The North Atlantic was known for dangerous ice during that time of year. But the ship continued moving at high speed. The ocean that night was calm, too calm. There were no waves to break against icebergs, making them harder to see. The sky was dark, with no moon to light the path ahead. Still, the ship moved forward. At 11:40 p.m., high above the deck, two lookouts scanned the horizon. Then suddenly, they saw it. An iceberg. Straight ahead. The warning was sent immediately. The crew reacted quickly. The ship tried to turn. Engines were reversed, but the distance was too short. The iceberg scraped along the side of the ship. It didn't feel like a massive crash. Many passengers barely noticed. Some thought it was nothing. But below the surface, everything had changed. The iceberg had torn open multiple sections of the hull. Water began rushing into the ship. At first, the situation seemed manageable. But as engineers examined the damage, the truth became clear. Too many compartments were flooding. The design that was supposed to keep the ship safe could not handle this level of damage. The ship would sink, slowly, but inevitably. At first, there was no panic. Passengers were told to remain calm. Some even laughed about the situation. They didn't believe the ship was in real danger. But behind the scenes, the crew began preparing lifeboats. And that's when another problem became clear. There were not enough lifeboats for everyone on board. At the time, regulations did not require ships to carry enough lifeboats for all passengers. The belief in the ship's safety had replaced preparation. As lifeboats were lowered, many left only half full. People hesitated to get in. They didn't want to leave the ship. It still felt safe. It still looked safe. But slowly, the front of the ship began to dip lower into the water. And the reality started to set in. Panic began to spread. Passengers rushed to the deck. Some searched for their families. Others begged for a place on the lifeboats. The crew tried to maintain order. "Women and children first," they shouted. But time was running out, and space was limited. Families were separated. Decisions were made in seconds that would last forever. As the minutes passed, the situation grew worse. The front of the ship sank deeper into the ocean. Water moved through the lower decks. The angle of the ship became more noticeable. Fear replaced disbelief. People now understood what was happening. The ship was going down. By 2 a.m., the end was near. The front of the ship was almost completely underwater. The back rose high into the air. Passengers clung to railings. Some jumped into the freezing ocean below. The water temperature was deadly. Survival time was only minutes. Then, just after 2:20 a.m., the ship could no longer hold together. It broke apart. The massive structure split in two, and within moments, it disappeared beneath the surface of the ocean. More than 1,500 people were left in the freezing water. The cold was overwhelming. People struggled to stay afloat. Voices filled the night. Cries for help echoed across the ocean, but the lifeboats were too far away. One by one, the voices faded. The freezing water took them, and silence returned. Hours later, rescue ships arrived. They found the lifeboats. They pulled survivors from the cold. But for most, it was too late. The ocean had already claimed them. The disaster shocked the world. How could a ship believed to be unsinkable sink? Investigations revealed the truth. Warnings had been ignored. There were not enough lifeboats, and confidence in technology had gone too far. Changes were made after the disaster. New safety rules were introduced, lessons learned through tragedy. The ship was gone, but its story remained, a symbol of ambition, confidence, and the danger of believing something is untouchable. On that cold night in April, thousands trusted the strongest ship ever built, and within just a few hours, it was gone. If you want more stories where history refuses to stay buried, hit subscribe and watch what happens next. Because some places never let go. Thanks for watching.